Well, hello, Radiant Ones. This is Dr. Sandra Wall Williams, author, speaker, momentum strategist, and your calling and career coach. It is indeed a pleasure to be here with you on this, our last of a 4-part series on determining your seasons. I have just enjoyed these sessions. I hope you have learned from them and you have grown from them. And today we are going to give you the last of the 4 seasons, and that is the harvest season. Now, let us very quickly review. We talked about the preparation season. We've talked about planting. We've talked about watering. And now it is time for harvest. It is time that everything you have worked for, everything that you have suffered for, everything that you have been waiting for is now going to come to fruition. So, what is it about the harvest season? What can we say about the harvest season? Now, first of all, I want you to know that the harvest season is when you will see the manifestation of your purpose. It's so important that you understand that. You will see the manifestation of your purpose. Now, what I want you to remember about the manifestation of your purpose is you may not see yourself. Okay, I want you to hold on to this now. You may not see yourself walking or doing what it is you just knew your purpose was. The manifestation of your purpose could actually happen on the inside of you before you see it on the outside of you. That is so critical. For years, I thought my harvest was, I'm going to be doing this in ministry. I'm going to be doing that in my career. I'm going to be walking in my calling in this way. I'm going to be doing this here, there, and everywhere. But what I found out is the manifestation of my harvest actually happened on the inside of me first. And then I began to see God's manifestation on the outside. Now, I want you to remember something, that even when you get to harvest time, even when you get to the harvest, that the enemy is going to still attempt to block you from your destiny. In harvest, you think that harvest is easy and harvest is you've finally gotten there. God has worked with you on the inside. You're beginning to see manifestation of this on the outside. Then all of a sudden, it seems as if your problems begin to magnify. Well, remember what happens in a physical harvest. In a physical harvest, it's time when you begin to take the fruit of the labor. You take the fruit of the labor, and then from that fruit, you can plant more seed. The enemy will try to steal your seed at harvest, just like he tries to steal your seed even before it is prepared in the ground. So that's why at harvest, you see or you feel like everything is wonderful. Everything is great. I'm walking in my purpose. God has done something on the inside of me. I am a new person. I am transformed. I am this. I am that. It is so wonderful. And then all of a sudden, you begin to realize, wait a minute. What I have been longing for, the enemy is trying to steal even more. The reason he's trying to steal it even more is because inside of the harvest, there's always a seed. Because when you pull up the fruit, there is seed inside the fruit, and that seed can be planted again and again and again and continue to grow. The enemy does not want to see you get to harvest, and he definitely does not want to see you in a harvest time. Now, keep in mind what I said earlier, and that is harvest is where you have been on the inside. Harvest is what God is doing on the, or has done on the inside of you. Your harvest may or may not be tangible. It may be something that you've been longing for. It may be something that God had to do on the inside of you. Remember that God determines when it is harvest time, but God also determines what the harvest actually is. See, I have come to the understanding is that my personal harvest may not always be something in my calling or something in my career. My personal harvest may be a transformation inside of me. And I tell you what, when God transforms you, when he takes you to a place such that you can actually be able to grab hold of your harvest. He takes you to a place where there is transformation on the inside of you. When God takes you to that place, you get so excited and you realize it wasn't all about the calling. It wasn't all about the career. It wasn't all about me moving up. It was about what God was doing on the inside of me, so that when I got to harvest in career, when I get to harvest in my calling, that I can handle the blessings that God is going to give me. But first, that harvest has to be manifested on the inside of you. That is why the enemy does not want you to get to harvest. That is why even in harvest, the devil tries to destroy your destiny, because he knows that once God gets you to a point of harvest, that you will bear fruit. You are seeing the manifestation of your purpose and you will bear fruit. And remember, inside that fruit, there is more seed that you are going to plant. The enemy does not want the seed inside your fruit to go anywhere. So he will still try to kill you at harvest time. Now, at harvest, it looks like there won't be any more storms or any more giants in your life. I don't want you to think that is the case. And at harvest time, you will still see storms. You will still see giants. You will still go through different issues in your life. But you have to remember what is happening. Why are the storms there? Why are the giants there? Why are these fiery darts being sent at you? Remember, the devil is still trying to kill the seed. He tried to kill the seed. Well, even before you started preparing the ground, he tried to kill the seed when you were in a season of planting. He tried to kill the seed. He tried to kill the seed by either giving it too much water, more practically allowing someone to water you that was not appropriate for the seed that had been planted. And then if he doesn't do it all there, he's going to try to kill your seed that will come out of the harvest, because he knows that if God is giving you a seed and something for you to plant on the inside of you so that you can begin to help others on the outside of you, then once that seed gets into the harvest, that you're not going to sit still. You are going to do exactly what God has called you to do. Now, as I said, God determines that it's harvest time, and God determines what the harvest is. We must realize that our faith grows in the harvest. We must realize that it's at the harvest time where you grab on because something new has been done on the inside of you. You realize at harvest time that you get even more excited. And one thing you do at harvest time is your fight becomes more fierce, because you do not want the enemy, the devil, to steal what God has done on the inside of you. God has manifested his purpose for you on the inside of you, and you do not want the devil to steal it. So in harvest, you have to have a more fierce fight so that you can begin to fight the enemy even the more. And I tell you what, some people, now here's something I want you to know it's very, very important, is there will be some people that have been with you through the preparation. They've been with you through planting. They were with you through watering, but they may not be able to go with you in the harvest. It took me a long time to understand that some people would not be able to go with me in the harvest. And so what I've come to understand is, just like there are seasons in my life, there are seasons when people will come in and out of my life, depending on what God wants them to do in my life for that particular season. Now, your desire, your destiny, your purpose, you have to understand again that it's being manifested in the harvest. The enemy is going to try to kill you even more in the harvest. So you can't let your guard down. You've got to continue to pray. You've got to continue to fast. You've got to continue to stay in the presence of God. People say, well, I've reached my harvest. I finally got that position, that career position that I have always wanted. Well, let me tell you something. I am in an executive position, and every time it seems like that God is taking me higher, or he begins to do something in me, I begin to go through something on my job. It's because the devil wants to kill the seed that he knows could come forth from what God has placed in me as I go to a higher level in my career. When I think about my calling, every time I think about how God takes me to a higher and a higher level, it seems like I begin to go through something such that I can be distracted from the call on my life. Well, ladies, let me tell you something. Don't get distracted from the call. Don't get distracted. If God has you on a career path and that's your call, if he has you on a call to the ministry, whatever he has you to do, don't get distracted. Whatever you do, don't get distracted in the harvest. Because remember, the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And that's what he wants to do to you. There is no particular season where he is or is not going to do it. The devil's job is to do that in all the seasons. But remember that Christ came so that we might have life and we might have it more abundantly. And because he came and we have life more abundantly, then the enemy can throw all the fiery darts at us he wants. But we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that God has his angels of protection around us so that when the fiery darts are thrown, they are going to bounce off us and they won't even be able to hurt us. So now, remember, it's at a time of harvest when the enemy is trying to steal your future seed. Again, it's at that time of harvest that the enemy is trying to steal your future seed. So don't let your guard down. What you did in preparation, when you went through, when God was molding and shaping and purging you, what you did in planting, when he was really putting you in the ground, what you did in watering, when you allowed people to pour into you, the right people to pour into you, you still want to continue to do those things in the harvest. I tell you what, it's so exciting when I think about the seasons, when I think about where I am and the different areas of my life. And we go back to our sheet. You should be able to complete your sheet now and determine, okay, what season am I in as a mom? What season am I in terms of my purpose? What season am I in terms of a wife, as a minister, in my career, as an entrepreneur, as an author? What season am I in? Because keep in mind, the enemy, in each of these seasons, you are going to be producing a harvest, and there will be fruit in that harvest. And the enemy wants to attack the future seed because he knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that when you produce fruit, that you will produce that fruit such that you will walk in what God has called you to do. I am so excited for you, Radiant Ones. I have just been blessed by being able to be here with you over the past week. I am excited about the next expert coach, and I am ready for her. And I know she is going to be a blessing also. So as we finish up this particular session, this particular lesson on determining your season, I want you to remember that you can always be in more than one season at the same time. It depends on the situation. That God will get you through any and every season in your life. He created the seasons. He created you beautifully and wonderfully, and he has built you to make it through each and every season. Again, I thank you so much for this opportunity to do this teaching and coaching with you. And remember, identify your season. The season you will move forward in your season. And remember that God is always there with you and for you as you go through your seasons. Have a wonderful, wonderful time. And again, get prepared for your next expert coaching. God bless you. Bye-bye.